Welcome to the TimeControl Online Learning Center. Today we're going to take a look at adding a timesheet, and in particular adding a timesheet when no preloads have been set. I've logged in here as Tom Logan. Tom has started off his timesheet in the TimeControl dashboard, but from here we're going to go to the timesheet tab. TimeControl allows you to define where you'll start TimeControl and where each tab will go, but in this case Tom has defined his system to start in the timesheet list. But to add a new timesheet, we go to the screen actions on the right. We say I'd like to add a new timesheet. TimeControl gives us the next probable date for adding a timesheet. We could also copy from a previous timesheet that was posted. We could look at missing timesheets if there were any missing for Tom. But in this case, we'll just start with a blank timesheet and take it from there. So TimeControl takes a look and sees if there's any preloaded information, in this case not, and presents us with the timesheet screen. We have all kinds of options to this screen, including being able to remove some of the fields if we'd rather not see them. We can take out, for example, the project description. Perhaps the user description is not that interesting to us, and TimeControl then reorganizes the rest of the screen. And one more selection to make in the options, and that's the format of how we'd like to see the day and the hours. Okay, so we can now add a new line to the timesheet. And when we do, we're prompted to select the project, and we can select from available projects in the system, and from there then the charge codes within that project, and TimeControl presents those to us in a hierarchical display. We can just take one of those at random. We've defaulted Tom's rate code, but there are multiple possible selections for rate code depending on how you've defined your data. So we could have a standard rate that was global and a standard rate for Tom. I think the one that was selected was fine. And Tom will now go in and say, well, he spent half his week doing that work. Let's add a couple more lines now, and we can select from additional projects, including internal projects. Let's go to internal and say that Tom was also caught up in a lot of meetings this week. There we go, meetings. And we'll say that that took up most of his week. And we're going to add one more line. And that's for a vacation day. Tom's going to take a vacation day on Friday. So that's under our internal codes. And then let's go find an internal vacation day. And there it is, paid vacation. And Tom's going to do that on Friday. So now we have a 40-hour timesheet. We can save this line here by clicking the Save button. And Tom can take a look at some additional information. He can add some freeform notes to the timesheet, or he can look at information, more detailed information for each of these lines. He can do that by clicking the plus key, and then we can see that there's information for each of these charge items. If this came from a project management tool, there may be information about the associated activity. We can even put in notes for this line right here on the screen. In this case, we don't need to do any of that. We can expand this a little bit to fill our screen. We can just say, let me release this for approval, and given that Tom approves his own timesheets, this is going to check the automatic validation rules in the background, and if they're accepted, then TimeControl will say, yes, this has been accepted and has now been released to posting, so administrators can now take that information and do reporting on it or anything else that they need. For Tom, his work is complete, and he's done with his timesheet for today.